Hey everyone, it's James here from Guitar Star TV. I hope you're doing good. Now, I've been given a request on Instagram to do the intro to a fantastic song by Black Label Society called Spoke in the Wheel. I'll take you through it chord by chord and hopefully it'll be enough to get you through it. So if you're ready, let's get going. Alright, so the first chord in this sequence is a C major. So if you're unfamiliar with that, I'm going to take you through the shape now quickly. So you've got your 3rd fret on the A string, use your ring finger. 2nd fret on the D string with your middle finger. And then the 1st fret on the B string with your 1st finger. That's your C major chord. Now you don't play the very bottom E string, so you do the A, D, G, B and E. So that's your C major chord. Now, what he does is he plays individual strings from that chord and he also does a little hammer-on thing on the D string. I'll take you through that now. What I'll do is I'll play it for you and then I'll break it down. Again. Alright, so what he's doing there, while you're on your C major chord, take your middle finger off the D string. So at the moment, you've got an open D, and what he does is he plays the A string, slight rest, and then it's the B string and the G string, and then he plays the open D and hammer your middle finger back on that 2nd fret, so you get this. So at the moment we've got A, B, G, open D, hammer on to that 2nd fret, and then the last 3 notes are just the G string, B string and G string again. So that little pattern again. So A, B, G, D, hammer, G, B, G. The next pattern is a chord, it's a G major and they call it G/B. Now it sounds more complicated than what it actually is. All you're doing is you can choose whichever 2 fingers you want. Some people play it with different fingers. I use my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string and then my ring finger goes on the 3rd fret of the B string. So essentially what you've got is you've got the notes of a G major chord but you're playing it from the A string down rather than that, we're not using that 6th string, we just play it from the 5th string down. That's a G/B, alright? So this next little pattern, I'm going to play it for you again and I'll break it down. And you can hear it again, he's using a little hammer on again. Now this time, you're going to play the A string, the G string and the D string, and then the B string and the G string. So you've got and the little hammer-on section at the end of that is just an open A, then hammer your 1st finger back down onto that 2nd fret, and then he plays the open D string. So what you've got now is again. So the first 2 sequences together now. Third pattern is a standard A minor chord. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I'll go through it again. So on your D string, you want the 2nd fret, use your middle finger for that. Underneath, on the 2nd fret of the G string, you have your ring finger. And then on the 1st fret of the B string, you have your 1st finger. Alright, so this is your A minor chord. Now we play from the A string down. And I'll go through this pattern like I did the other 2, and then I'll break it down for you. So what you're doing there is you're playing the A string, then the G string and D string, and then he's playing an open B and then hammering on to the 1st fret with your 1st finger. Now this one is a bit slower than the other 2. If you notice, the other 2 hammer-ons are quite sort of one after the other. This one is a little bit slower, so you get this. And then you play the G and D string after that. So we've got. Now the last little bit of this chord, quite tricky for some beginners. What you do is you put your little finger down onto the 3rd fret of the top E string. That makes that an A minor 7 chord. And all he does there is plays the top E, the B, the G, and then he takes his little finger off and plays the E and the B again. So that little pattern is. So that whole thing. Now from there's a little sort of transition, what I call a sort of bridge note really. All I do is I lift my middle finger up to the 2nd fret of the A string. Keep your 1st finger on that 1st fret of the B string, and what it does is play the A string, the B string, and the A string again. Sounds odd on its own, but I'll play that whole pattern through and you'll be able to hear where it fits into the song. Play it one more time. So what it does after that is just repeats the C major pattern again. So then you move to the G/B section. Now he starts this the same way, slightly different at the end, but he starts exactly the same way. So you do the A string, G and D, and then what you do is you put your little finger down on the 3rd fret of the top E. So now you've got this, and what he does is you think he plays the B string and the E string together. So you get that sound. So what he does, like that. And then directly after that is the G string again. So you get. Yeah, same again. And then the very last chord in this pattern is the E minor add 9. But before that, you get your 2nd fret on the bottom E string here, and you bend it up to the 3rd fret, and then release and play the open E. So that little section again, just so you can hear it. One more time. Now what you do for an E minor add 9, if you're not familiar with this, it's a lovely sounding chord. What you do is you put your 1st finger on the A string 2nd fret, and then you have your little finger on the 4th fret of the D string. So you've kind of got like a B5 power chord, but you play from the very 6th string, so you get. That's a lovely chord. So you see that properly. So you just got a B5 power chord, and then you play. So after that bend, all you do is go A string, D string, G string, B string, G string, D string. So you're going all the way up, and then back down 2 strings. So you get this. One more time. And the very last section, all you do is go top E, B and G, and then go B and G, and then he does that weird little slide thing which I'll show you in a second. So that whole bit up to where we are now. And then all you do, grab the 3rd fret of the A string, slide up to the 5th fret of the A string, and then play the open G, and then play the 5th fret of the A string again. So that whole little E minor section played for you. C major again. So any questions, just get in touch with me and I'll be happy to sort of take you through any more bits you get stuck with, but hopefully that's enough for you. Good luck and I'll see you soon.